Hello again. It has been a while. Not much has changed. I have slightly longer hair, as you can see. But other than that, same old, same old. I want to talk about nationalism. Nationalism has never been something that has made any sense to me, and I want to explain why. I want to make the case against nationalism. Like, the only reason I can see for us to create a word like Canada is to describe a certain place. It is useful to have labels that refer to certain geographical locations, like, I live in a big urban gathering that we call Calgary, and I live in the northwest of Calgary, and I don't want to tell you exactly where I live, because that's kind of creepy on the internet, but so it is useful to have these labels. I will agree with that. But I consider nationalism something different than just creating a word for a certain place. Nationalism is the idea of grouping a group of people solely on the basis of them living within a certain geographical location. It's not based around any particular property rights or anything like that. It's simply based on, like, I don't even know what it's based on. It's not based on anything. Like, the grouping of Canada, as in the divide between Canada and the US and every other nation, is so arbitrary. But people will argue that it doesn't matter if it's not necessarily based in reality. It's an idea that brings people together. It makes people unite under a particular banner. I don't think this is the case. I think that human beings, based on our natures, we naturally group together, and we do so as human beings. We don't need a banner like Canada to help us group together. All this banner does is divide us from other human beings, and it stunts our growth as an organism. It doesn't help us unite anymore. I think it's very comparable to the idea that white nationalists always bring up. When they're talking about white pride, they'll say that, pride of your race, it brings people together. It brings all these white people together in solidarity. It's true, but it also divides you against a vast number of other human beings that are the exact same as you. So it cuts you off. Now, I'm not saying they're the exact same as you. Obviously, there's huge diversity among human beings, but between groups like races and nationalities, it's shown that in terms of personality type, there's virtually like a negligible amount of difference. It doesn't matter. For all intents and purposes, all groups are the same, so these divides aren't useful. I think that if we're putting in place social policies, we should be putting in place social policies that relate to human beings. And people sometimes get really upset when I compare nationalism to racism, but I think there are some valid comparisons to be made, and it's interesting, I think. And another one I want to make is that when you talk about nationalism, people always say it's a love of your country. It's all about a love of this group of people. It's not about hatred. It's not about division. It's just about love. But the problem is, like, whatever word you want to use to describe your feelings, you're placing your group above the rest. You're putting yours on a pedestal, and them below you. It's like in racism. Very few racists will actually say that they hate other races. They'll simply say that, no, I just love my race. I love our group of people. This isn't about hate or about, trying to push them away or oppress them. I just love white people. And, it just implies, obviously, that they don't love other people to the same extent. And it's just another way of saying that they are below me. It's another form of bigotry, and just based in nothing elitism that I think is very counterproductive to our cause as a social, collective organism kind of thing. Like, if you're the kind of person who would consider yourself a proud member of your nation and you think racism is stupid, like, I would strongly urge you to look closely at why you think racism is stupid. Why is racism a bad idea? Like, what about it necessarily is wrong? Is it okay if they simply love their race and claim to not hate any other races? But I would like to discuss the idea of whether or not racism and nationalism are at all different. Like, these are both words that we use to describe certain distinct characteristics. Like, I see nothing wrong with having a word like Asian people. You can say a guy looked Asian. You can describe him. It's like a quick way of saying, well, he had slightly more of this color skin, you know, these features. And it's a very distinct, short version. It's like they generally look like this. These words are useful as descriptions, but that's it. That's the bottom line. That's where it ends. And all these like weird, freaky cults that people try to just attach on to racism and nationalism. Not cool. So yeah, when I say I'm proud to be a white Canadian, which one offends you more? The fact that I'm proud to be white or proud to be Canadian? And if they both offend you equally, then we probably agree. But if one offends you more than the other, I would like to know why. Peace.